Could Bitcoin reach 46,000 by the end of the year? What's up, guys? Crypto Savvy here. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Wednesday. We're going to take a look at Litecoin, take a look at Bitcoin. We're going to take a look at the key areas I'm looking at and where I think we're going to be headed here shortly. Also, stick around to the end and we're going to take a look at why I believe that we could hit 46,000 by the end of the year. Very interesting chart. We've looked at it before, the Bitcoin daily versus the gold weekly, so stick around. Definitely want to see that at the end. Also, just a reminder, on Sundays, we do a drawing for a free t-shirt. All you have to do is leave a comment down in the comment section down below. That'll get you entered to win. And let's get on with the video, guys.
1, 2, 3, jump!
All right, guys, as always, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Anybody doing any investing or trading in this market, I suggest you do your own due diligence, your own research, as this market is extremely volatile and risky. Also, keep in mind that it's still a speculative market. Don't put in more than you're willing to lose. With that being said, if you're new here, or you haven't already, hit the subscribe button in the lower right-hand side of the screen. That'll get you subscribed to the channel. Tick the notification bell to get you notified when I post new videos. Smash those likes and leave your comments down below, guys. Let me know what you think of the video, and let's see what we're looking at. We're going to start out with Litecoin on the daily, and looking at this as a big cup handle forming here. And we do a measured move off of that, the depth of the cup, and that gets us up to the $179 range, guys, and that's my target if we break back above this $100 area. And let's look at the RSI real quick and see what we're looking at here. As you can see, I have the rising channel drawn here, which we've bounced out of here. We look like we're coming back down. Might have one more move down to test the bottom of this again and possibly move up from there. Let's look into the 4-hour RSI and see what that's telling us. And if you remember, I had this falling wedge drawn here, which we popped out of, got us that move up. Now we're in a falling channel here, which we could come back up here and then have, you know, a fall back down into the oversold area. So we're going to keep an eye on that. I'm going to show you what targets I'm looking at. So let's get into the price action real quick and kind of look at where we're at there. So as you can see, we had this long rising channel here, which we popped out of, tested for support, broke through, came back down, tested the bottom for support, broke through, broke back in the channel. As you can see, I have this falling channel drawn here. Now what I'm looking at now is if we take a measured move off of this rising channel that we moved back into and to where we broke down now, that would be around the 58.70 to 59 area, and that could be, I'm going to zoom in here and show you. I drew this trend line right in here, if you guys can see that. And if we break down past this trend line, which right now is going to be around the 72.50 range, then I believe we're probably headed towards this 58.70 range, guys. So definitely keep your eye on that area. Then we would probably be coming down to test the bottom of this channel for support and then possibly move back up from there and shoot up. Now my thoughts on this right now, that's the bearish scenario, guys. My thoughts on this now, we can break back above this channel, then I would do the measured move off of this falling channel here, which would be the $97 range. First off, I'm going to move this up now. If you guys have been watching, you know these targets move as we move along because our support and resistance lines for our channels, you know, this one moves down and the white one moves up. So anyways, if we're able to break through this range around the 78.50 range, then I believe our next stop is going to be around this $90 range. And if we can break, and that'll bring us to the top of this rising channel. If we break through the top of this rising channel, then we do the measured move off of this channel, which is 97.75 area, somewhere in there. And my higher target is measuring this as a flagpole, this as a bull flag, and that we do the measured move coming out of there. That gets us up to around the $116 range, guys. So definitely want to keep an eye on that. If you're not doing your own charting, I suggest you do. I use TradingView if anybody's wanting to know, and for my browser I use Brave. I do have a link to Brave down below in my description. It works great for charting, way less lag, especially if you're using a lot of charts at once. Now we're going to take a look at Bitcoin on the daily. Same thing, looking at this as a cup and a handle. And if we were to break this 56, 55 range and stay above it, then my target is 8,200. And I've talked before about this trend line I've had drawn here from this two peaks. And the 84 or 8,200 would get us around the maybe August area, somewhere in there possible. That doesn't mean it'll take that long. We could go up higher. I'm just looking at it with this trend line. But that's my measured move off the cup and handle. We'll look at the other targets here in a second. I do want to look at the daily RSI, which, as you can see, the top line is giving us resistance, bottom line support. Broke through here. Now we broke back up. Now, I do believe that we're most likely going to come back down and test the bottom of this before moving up. But we do have to watch, and we'll look at the bearish scenario too if we do break this line. Look at the 4 hour and see what that's telling us. I don't think it's going to be telling us anything because it won't open for me. There we go. All right, so 4 hour RSI. This is kind of messy, guys. Try to bear with me on that, and I'll try to make it as clear as possible. We've had a long-term rising channel in these two lines here. Had this symmetrical wedge here, symmetrical triangle, whichever you want to call it, which we broke down out of, came down, tested the support of the channel, broke back in this symmetrical triangle, broke back above, come back down, and now we're forming this falling channel here. Now, what I do believe is that we're probably going to come back down and test the bottom of this triangle and continue up from there. And I'm going to show you in the price action why I think that. So let's get into the price action real quick. And looking at the 4 hour, this might get kind of confusing, guys, but bear with me and pay attention. And if you're doing your own charting, you'll be able to follow along. So what I'm looking at now, I'm going to zoom out a little bit first so we can see. And we had this rising channel drawn in here, which we broke back out of back here in April. Come back in, started forming a bigger rising channel. And it looks like we tried to break out here. I don't believe it's done yet. I do have a measured move I'll show you off of that. But I do want to look at the bearish scenario first. If we were to break, as you can see, I have this trend line here and this one here. It's kind of a broadening wedge, rising broadening wedge, which usually break down. But I think the market's pretty bullish, guys, and I don't believe that we're going to break down from there, but we will look at the moves if we do. And if we did a measured move off of where we were to break down, which is probably most likely going to be in this area, that gets us down to the 5150, 5160 area. And that would also be the bottom of this bigger rising channel here. If that happens, I'm going to put this back up here. If that happens, we would look for support off this line. And if we broke this price range, guys, and broke down, the measured move off of this channel would be, oops, hit the wrong buttons. Okay, so sorry about that. So the measured move off of that channel would be around the 4450 range, guys, which would coincide with the top of this trend line on this smaller rising channel that we've had way back here, which we broke out of. That'd get us around the $4,400 range. So that is the bearish scenario. Now, what I believe is going to happen, and this is my opinion, guys, but I know we had all the Binance FUD and stuff. You would think that it had a lot more effect on the market. I don't believe that stuff's going to have effect on it. I believe we're pretty strong right now. We're going to look at the higher targets, which I believe are coming now. So you can see this is the top of that rising channel, which we're still getting resistance. Let me zoom in so you can see this. Getting resistance on the top of here. I do believe we're going to come back down and test the bottom of this broadening wedge. And that's going to be around the 5630 to 5650 area. And I believe we're Going to come back up, test this again, and if we break through, touch the top of this broadening wedge. The way you do a measured move is wherever it breaks out of that rising wedge, which I'm just assuming here, this is not exact, guys, but we were to break out here and break above, and look at where that target takes us. Lines right up with my other ones in the 65.50 area. So it lines right up with this one, and I'll show you how I got those targets also. That's why there's a lot of stuff pointing to these areas. That's why I do believe we're going to continue up from here. But I also have this trend line right, or this measured move here, and that's a measured move off of this longer channel here. And that gets us up to the same area, 65.60, 65.50, somewhere in there. And then the other move I have, the higher one, the $7,000 range there, is just measuring this flagpole, and then this as a big bull flag, and obviously, you know, that gets us up to the $7,000 range. That doesn't mean we go straight up, guys. Again, we come up, probably test this, bounce around in here for a little bit, some sideways action. You know, this will take some time, but these are my targets, and pretty confident in them targets. Zoom in real quick. Looks like we're really trying to break that top of that channel again. We're definitely sitting on it. If that does break, we may be coming to test the top of this now at around 6,040. Definitely keep an eye on that. Let's look at why I believe that we could be hitting the $46,000 range, guys. 46 to 47,000. As you can see, this is the Bitcoin on the daily, and I've drawn trend lines from each peak to where we broke down, and we'll zoom in a minute and look at that. But I want to look at the gold weekly chart now. And as you can see, I've done the same trend lines here from where it broke down. And this is what happened. And right in here, guys, in 2003, March 2003, the gold ETF was approved. And I know people say the ETF won't affect Bitcoin, but I don't believe that. Obviously, look what it did to gold when all the institutions came in. Another thing I want to mention, this looks a lot like Bitcoin. Let's go back. And if you look at that, a lot like Bitcoin, I would consider that what they consider a hyperwave, which is why I think it's bullshit, because it never came down, you know, as low. That would have brought gold down to 50 bucks or something, which never happened. In this bottom trend line on gold, we also touched that. We had two touches on it, and that was final. That was when we started rising up. And once we kept breaking through these resistance line, once we broke through this last one, obviously it was on. And if we look at, we go back, put it back down here, and this is just an estimated measurement off of this chart, guys, because it's so close to what's going on in Bitcoin. But if we look at Bitcoin, that same area, that would be around the $46,000 range, guys. But anyways, let's zoom in now and look. Obviously, in gold, we didn't have to have a big capitulation candle, which I don't think we have to have here either. We had two touches on the bottom trend line, just like gold. Also, each time we broke through one of these resistance line drawn from the peak, they were resistance and then became support. We broke through this pretty good now, so I don't see us, honestly, guys, going down past the 5,300 area again before we test the top of this one, which would be around that same price range, 65.50 or so. Right in here would get us the resistance from this line, and then possible we come back down and test here, you know, maybe $5,200, $5,100 area, and then continue on up. But I do believe we are definitely beginning the bull market, guys. I do want to show you another thing. I'm going to look in the weekly RSI, take a look at where we're at on that. And as you can see, this is 2013 bull run. I drew this trend line down. We tested it for resistance twice, broke through, and it was on, obviously, from there. And same thing from 2017 bull run. Drew this trend line down. We tried to break through twice, finally broke through. I don't think we're going to look back. That's why I believe the bottom's in, guys. Let's look at the monthly. And we're looking at the monthly RSI. Same thing. Right here is the 2013 bull run followed by the bear market. 2017 bull run followed by the bear market. And if we look, each one of these arrows represents a low in the RSI, and there was 4. in this bear market. We've had 4 in this bear market. Now, what I do believe, and if you haven't seen this before, is this arc for this move here, I believe, is going to be a lot quicker than the last one. Everything's happened a lot faster. But I do want you guys to see this whoops. This yellow line I have here was resistance right here, resistance here, or I'm sorry, support here, and we're getting resistance there. So once we push through there, we may come back down, test this for support, and continue up, guys. But like I said, I'm pretty bullish here. I do believe the bull market starting, the bear market has ended. So if you guys like the channel and the content, please click the Crypto Savvy logo above your head. That'll get you subscribed to the channel. Click the notification bell to get you notified. Smash those likes. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think of the video, guys. I really appreciate it, and I will see you tomorrow.